If you're already past 60 and you still feel like there's a fire in you, or if you're hoping to keep that fire burning well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, then you're in exactly the right place. I'm Dr. Grace Holloway, and I've been working in men's health and sexual wellness for over 20 years. Today, we're going to talk honestly about what happens to your body as you age, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it to keep your health strong, including your intimate life. The beautiful thing is, with the right habits and the right mindset, you absolutely can live fully at this stage of life. You can enjoy every moment with energy, confidence, and real satisfaction. So before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit that bell so you don't miss our videos on men's health, sexuality, and relationships. And if this topic resonates with you, drop a comment down below. It helps me understand what you guys actually want to hear more of. Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine still feeling sharp, active, and fully alive at 70, at 75, even at 80. I know that might sound like wishful thinking to some of you, but I'm here to tell you it's not. It is absolutely real, and I've seen it with my own patients right here in my practice. Let me share some numbers with you that I find genuinely exciting. Did you know that around 73% of people between the ages of 57 and 64 are still sexually active? And even between 65 and 74, about 53% of people continue to enjoy an intimate life with passion and connection. These numbers come from a landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And what they tell us is simple. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can still have a fulfilling, active, intimate life, but it doesn't just happen on its own. It takes some intention. And here's what a lot of guys don't realize. Staying sexually active isn't just good for your relationship or your mood, it's actually good for your brain. Research out of the University of Coventry found that people who remain sexually active starting in their 50s show a 25% improvement in cognitive function. That's right, we're talking about better memory, sharper thinking, improved mental clarity. Your sex life and your brain health are more connected than most people ever tell you. For men specifically, testosterone is at the center of all of this. According to the American Journal of Medicine, men with higher testosterone levels tend to maintain an active sex life significantly longer. And about 40% of men with low testosterone experience a real drop in both desire and performance. So keeping your testosterone at a healthy level isn't just about sex. It's about your overall vitality, your energy, your mood, your quality of life. Now I want to be straight with you about something. Time passes. We all age. And honestly, that's okay. That's a privilege. Aging only happens to people lucky enough to keep living. So let's start there. You've earned every one of those years. But your body at 60 or 70 is not the same body you had at 25, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone. Your muscle tone has changed. Your bone density has shifted a bit. Your blood flow may not be as strong as it used to be. You might be managing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart issues. And those things absolutely affect your sexual health. But here's what I always tell the men who come into my office. None of this means your quality of life has to go downhill. It just means we need to be smarter and more proactive about how we take care of ourselves. Here's an analogy I love to use with my patients. Think about a car battery that's been sitting in a garage for 2 years without being used. What happens? It drains. It loses its charge. Your body works the same way. When testosterone starts to drop and the body begins showing signs of aging, desire tends to decrease. And that leads you to think about sex less, which reduces desire even further, which makes the whole thing harder, which makes you think about it even less. It's a cycle, and once you're in it, it's hard to break out of. But here's the flip side. You can actively interrupt that cycle. Thinking about sex, literally, intentionally, helps stimulate testosterone production and increase libido. More testosterone means more desire. More desire means more activity. More activity means better function. That's a positive loop, and you can start it on purpose. I also want to address something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and I know this because of the thousands of men I've worked with over 2 decades. The problem isn't always physical. Sometimes, maybe even most of the time, the real issue is the relationship dynamic at home. I hear this from men constantly. My wife lost interest years ago. She'd rather look at her phone than be with me. I feel like I'm begging. That is a painful place to be, and I want you to know you're not alone in this, and it is not simply your fault or her fault. Desire changes for women too, especially after menopause. Hormonal shifts, stress, emotional disconnection. All of it affects her just as much as testosterone affects you. So here's what I'd add to any conversation about maintaining your erection after 60. The partner equation matters enormously. The tips I'm about to share you will absolutely help your body function better. But if there's a disconnect at home, I encourage you to also invest in that relationship. Open communication, maybe couples counseling, finding ways to reconnect outside the bedroom before you worry about what happens inside it. A body that works great but has no emotional intimacy to meet is only half the solution. I see this blind spot all the time, and it's one I want to call out directly. Now, let's get into the 7 things you can actually do. Practical, real-world strategies that I recommend to my patients and that are backed by solid science. The first one is controlling your weight. As you get older, your metabolism slows down. It becomes easier to gain weight and a lot harder to lose it. And I know most people think of excess weight as a cosmetic issue, but it goes way deeper than that. Excess fat, especially around your belly, raises your cholesterol, clogs your arteries, and reduces blood flow throughout your entire body, including to your genitals. Poor circulation down there means weaker erections, plain and simple. On top of that, excess body fat actively works against your testosterone. When your body stores too much fat, particularly around the midsection, it converts testosterone into estrogen. That's not a metaphor, that's biochemistry. So you're not just dealing with less blood flow, you're dealing with an actual hormonal shift working against you. The good news, you don't have to run marathons to fix this. Sustainable, moderate weight loss, even 10 or 15 pounds, can make a measurable difference in your testosterone levels and your circulation. Focus less on crash diets and more on consistency. The second thing is what you eat. Nutrition is directly connected to sexual health in ways most men never hear about. I want to highlight a few specific foods. Leafy greens like spinach and foods like beets are packed with nitrates, natural compounds that help dilate your blood vessels and improve circulation, including blood flow to where it matters most. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, give you omega-3 fatty acids that improve cardiovascular health and keep your arteries cleaner and more flexible. And zinc is essential for testosterone production. Oysters are the classic example, but pumpkin seeds and lean beef work great too. If you're eating a balanced Mediterranean-style diet, lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fish, and olive oil, you're doing yourself a massive favor. Studies have actually shown that the Mediterranean diet specifically improves erectile function. It stabilizes blood sugar, reduces cholesterol, and supports cardiovascular health, all of which feed directly into a healthier sex life. The third strategy is exercise. And I'm not talking about killing yourself at the gym. I'm talking about consistent, regular movement. It doesn't matter much what kind. Lifting weights, swimming, yoga, walking briskly around the neighborhood. The key is just doing it regularly. Physical activity builds muscle mass, improves circulation, stimulates testosterone production, and according to the World Health Organization, regular exercise reduces the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease by 30 to 50%. That's huge. Healthier cardiovascular system means better sexual function. Full stop. And there's a specific type of exercise that doesn't get nearly enough attention in conversations about men's sexual health. Pelvic floor exercises. Most people associate Kegel exercises with women, but men can benefit enormously from them. Your pelvic floor muscles are what keep blood in the penis during an erection. When those muscles are weak, erections are harder to maintain. Strengthening them, which you can do anywhere, no equipment needed, directly improves erection quality and can help with premature ejaculation as well. To do them, tighten the muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine, hold for 5 seconds, release, repeat 10 times. Do that 3 times a day. You'll notice a difference within weeks. The fourth thing is sleep, and I want to give this more than just a passing mention, because most people seriously underestimate it. Your body does the majority of its hormonal regulation while you sleep. Testosterone production peaks during deep sleep. If you're consistently getting 5 or 6 hours instead of 7 or 8, your testosterone levels are going to reflect that, and not in a good way. Sleep also controls your cortisol levels. High cortisol suppresses testosterone. So chronic poor sleep creates a double hit: less production and more suppression. Practical steps for better sleep: keep a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Limit alcohol in the evenings. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. And reduce screen time for at least an hour before bed. These aren't revolutionary ideas, but the men I've worked with who actually commit to them see real improvements, not just in their sex life, but in their energy, mood, and mental clarity across the board. The fifth thing is get regular checkups. I know a lot of guys avoid the doctor unless something's seriously wrong, and I get it. Nobody likes sitting in a waiting room. But annual checkups are non-negotiable at this stage of life. You need to be monitoring your testosterone levels, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your blood sugar. These are the core indicators of cardiovascular and hormonal health, and catching problems early is always better than trying to fix them after they've gotten serious. If your doctor isn't already checking your testosterone, ask them to. A lot of physicians focus on the obvious stuff and don't think to test hormone levels unless you specifically bring it up. Be your own advocate. Know your numbers. The sixth strategy is to actually think about sex. I know that sounds too simple, but the neuroscience backs it up completely. The more you think about sex, the more your brain signals your body to prepare for it. Studies have shown that actively and intentionally thinking about sex can measurably increase testosterone production. It keeps the mental and physical systems engaged rather than letting them go dormant. This connects back to that car battery analogy. You don't have to be in a relationship or have an active partner to keep the system running. Solo activity counts. Staying curious about your own body, staying mentally present to your own sexuality, all of it keeps the engine turning over so that when you are with a partner, the engine actually starts. And the seventh strategy, and this is where I want to be thoughtful, because the supplement industry is full of overpromising, is targeted supplementation. I'm not talking about miracle pills or anything you'd find advertised on late-night TV. I'm talking about a few well-researched natural options that can genuinely support your hormonal and vascular health when used appropriately. Ginseng has solid evidence behind it for improving energy and blood flow, and some studies suggest it can help with erectile function specifically by increasing nitric oxide production and overall circulation. If you're feeling like your energy has just flatlined, this one is worth looking into. L-arginine is an amino acid that your body uses to produce nitric oxide, which is the compound that actually allows blood vessels to relax and dilate, so blood can flow into the penis during an erection. When nitric oxide production drops, which it naturally does with age, erection quality drops with it. L-arginine helps support that process. Citrulline, which you actually get from watermelon, especially the white rind, is a precursor to arginine and often works even better because it's more bioavailable. These two are closely related and both worth considering. Zinc supplementation can be valuable if you're not getting enough through food. As I mentioned, zinc is foundational for testosterone production, and levels naturally decline as we age. And then there's maca root, sometimes called Peruvian ginseng, which has been used for centuries in South America and has a decent body of modern research showing it can improve libido and physical endurance without directly affecting testosterone levels. It seems to work through different pathways, which makes it a nice complementary option. That said, I want to be completely clear. Before you start adding any supplements to your routine, talk to your doctor, especially if you're already on medications for blood pressure, heart health, diabetes, or anything else. Supplements are not candy. Some of them interact with medications in meaningful ways, and more is not always better. Use them with intention and under guidance. Now, I want to come back to something I said earlier because I think it's the piece that most men's health content leaves out entirely, and it's the thing I hear about most in my practice. The physical side of all this, the testosterone, the circulation, the supplements, the exercise, that's all real and it all matters. But here's what I've learned from 20 plus years of working with men. The most common reason an otherwise healthy man in his 60s or 70s stops having an active sex life isn't a physical problem. It's a relationship problem. It's a communication problem. It's the slow erosion of emotional intimacy that happens when two people stop really talking to each other. If your partner has pulled away, if intimacy feels like something you have to negotiate or beg for, that is a conversation worth having. Openly, without blame, and ideally with a counselor who specializes in couples and sexuality. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about acknowledging that both of you have changed, that her body and her desires have changed just as yours have, and that staying connected requires active effort from both sides. Some of the most meaningful improvements I've seen in men's sexual health didn't come from a new supplement or a new workout routine. They came from a guy who finally sat down with his wife and said honestly and without defensiveness, "I miss being close to you. Can we talk about this?" That conversation, as hard as it is, can change everything. So my recommendation to you is this: take the physical steps seriously. Control your weight, eat well, move your body, sleep, get your labs done, stay mentally engaged, and consider the right supplements. All of that is real and all of it works. But don't treat the physical stuff as a workaround for the emotional stuff. Do both. Your body and your relationship both deserve that investment. One final thing I want to say, because I mean it. Aging is not the enemy. Some of the most vital, engaged, joyful men I know are in their 70s and 80s. The guys who age well aren't the ones who found some secret supplement or some biohacking trick. They're the ones who stayed curious, stayed connected, stayed active, and kept showing up for their health, for the people they love, and for themselves. You can be that guy. The information I've shared today is a starting point, not a ceiling. Your body is capable of more than you might think, and it's never too late to start taking better care of it. If any of this resonated with you, leave a comment below. Tell me what you're dealing with, what you've tried, what's worked. I read every comment, and your experiences help shape what I cover next. If you found this helpful, a like goes a long way in helping more people find this content. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. We've got a lot more to talk about. Take care of yourselves, all of you. I'll see you in the next one.